All right, folks, what is up, everybody? This is your boy AJTRIP. We are live for WrestleMania, Resurrection of WrestleMania Night 2. And, yeah, maybe not as good as Night 1, but still overall entertaining enough. The main event kind of saved Night 2, probably. Otherwise, all in all, it's a very interesting show. Let's start off with what they started off with Steen and Randy Orton. Interesting way to start off. Now I think I know why they started off because it was really nothing really. It was you know the Fiend and Randy Orton and everything, and there's a couple moves here and there. We got the Manual Claw locked on. Got to go for Sister Abigail. At some point, they were wrestling in the red light again. And at some point, Alexa Bliss shoots up from the box and starts leaking black liquid from her head, and that causes the Fiend to be taken down by RKO. 1, 2, 3. Randy Orton wins. Now I have no problem with Randy Orton winning. I definitely have no problem with the Fiend losing, but I want this Fiend stuff to be over. And I'm not talking about I'm not talking about the stuff with Randy Orton, but the stuff with Alexa Bliss. I'm talking about the actual Fiend. I need the Fiend has go away heat with me. I need the Fiend to be gone. It really does. The Fiend lowers the Fiend lowers my enjoyment of WWE right now, and they need him to be gone. And the best thing would be is to have this dude just go away, go away, never to be found again. Let him go away. Let that dude come back as the Mr. Rogers gimmick, or have him come back as the cult leader or something like that, or have him come do something else. But it's time for him to go. See, so yeah. I was hoping that when they burned him, that's what they were gonna do. They were gonna have him, the Fiend was gonna go away, and maybe Bray Wyatt would come up with something else, something that was a little bit more, a little better. But it has not worked. That's not. Next was the women's tag match between um, Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler versus Natalya and Tamina, who won the Battle Royal. Not Battle Royal, the tag team turmoil match last night at WrestleMania Night 1 for this match, and they had an okay match. I had it 3 stars. I just think it was too bad. The folks that I was listening to, they were shitting all over it, and and these are people who are not really WWE fans anyway. So they, you can't take their. I try not to, and I'm gonna change some stuff, with listening to them and things like that because they're not really WWE fans. But you know, you can't give them really anything important, So you take their opinion with a grain of salt. Um, but they're gonna probably hate everything that he does. But I thought this was good. I thought there was some good stuff in this. I really did think that they made a good choice by putting us on second. Um, I think the way they had this card, I think it was the right way to do it. Where all of the titles went on last, and the non-title matches went on first. I think that was the perfect shot. Great shot. The only thing here is that the wrong team won. It should have been Natalia and Tamina. Natalia and Tamina should have won. Nia Jackson, Shayna Baszler should have lost. I will say this, and I said it coming out of the, when I was, saying as I was coming on live. I'm guessing the only reason why they have decided to titles on Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler is so that they can put them on the Bella Twins, Nikki and Brie. There are rumors that Nikki and Brie were coming back. That they opportunity to come back. I guess like everybody else, like Brian and like Edge and like Christian, Nikki has gone through all her stuff and has gotten her doctors, get her doctor's thing to be cleared to wrestle. And I think Bree has maybe got the itch again, and so they're gonna go ahead and they're gonna get back into their I think that could be something that could be done. Well, yeah, I think that maybe is the way they're gonna go about it. So yeah, like I said, I would have went for Natalia and Tamina. That didn't happen. Nia Jackson and Baszler did win. Natalia passed out in the Carafulu Cuts. So again, like I said, 3 stars. The next match was Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens with Logan Paul at ringside, and these guys had a pretty good match. This was actually less than 10 minutes, the shortest match in between both nights. Less than 10 minutes, and I can understand why, because they have been known to be very not not flexible backstage. Arn Anderson mentioned that Kevin Owens is a pain to work with backstage because he doesn't want to listen. He thinks he knows everything. Jim Cornette has said that in the past as well. So I'm sure that just instead of the agent fighting, he just really said, "Listen, give them 10 minutes so that they ain't got shit to do." So they won't be asking us to do a whole bunch of shit. They'll just get that shit in and get it done. And that's what they did. They had some good stuff. And they made some. It was entertaining. For a less than 10 minute match, I give it 3.5 stars. Actually, I would probably, yeah, I'd probably take that down and have a star, 3.25 star, and well, take it down a quarter star, I guess. Yeah. So it was 3.25 star. It was really good. KO hit the stun on 1, 2, 3 at the victory. Then afterwards hit the stun on Logan Paul, who did a kind of Vince McMahon sale of the stunner, and that was it. So yeah, Kevin Owens gets to wrestle Sami Zayn at WrestleMania. So they get to wrestle each other. That's really cool for them. The Intercontinental title will be on the line. Was afterwards. That was the Nigerian drum fight between Big E and Apollo Crews. And you're wondering what it was. What this is going to be. This is an ordinary. It's just a regular no DQ match. And and see, I think, and here's one of the things that I think, you know, here's one of the things I think that every wrestling organization that needs to stop doing, because they do this with everything. They need to stop, you know, you know, giving these matches these crazy names and and it's just a regular no DQ match. There's nothing really, different about it, So it's, it really is. It's all it is. It's one thing. It's one thing when you call it like a Chicago street fight or a Texas street fight or something like that. It is, or it's different than a street fight. Yeah. You call it Chicago street fight because it's either in Chicago or one of the contestants is one of the combatants is from Chicago. who was doing anything, so that makes sense. So I guess maybe, but you should have just called this instead of a Nigerian drum fight. This should have just been a Nigerian, you know, a Nigerian uh, fight or Nigerian whatever, a Nigerian, Nigerian rules or something. That would have made more sense. But the Nigerian drum fight, yeah. And it was okay. I gave it 2 and 3/4 stars. Apollo wins after Dabakato, now nicknamed Colonel Aziz, joined him. He picked up Big E, gave him the Samoan spike, and then gave him a choke slam, and Apollo covered him, and Apollo became the new Intercontinental Champion. So Apollo now has a second, and Colonel Aziz, and he's a big boy too. He's about 6'10", 6'11", maybe even 7 feet tall. So that's a big guy. He debuts at WrestleMania, and Apollo Crews is your new United States champion. Okay, so let's do this. Then after that, it was the Hall of Fame ceremony, the 2021 Hall of Fame famers. Ozzy Osbourne for the celebrity, Rich somebody from the Warrior Award. We had what was it, um, Kane was also there. Rob Van Dam, Molly Holly, Eric Bischoff, yeah, and then Kane was the main one, and so it's good. I gotta think next year. It's I would think Undertaker is a given because it's Texas and it's Undertaker's from Texas. So I would think it's a given that it's the Undertaker going in next year. And I would also think that Batista, who did not go in this year, did not want to do not want to do the virtual one because he wanted to talk to the fans. He would probably go in next year. There's a possibility he could go in on the Hollywood one as well. But I've been predicting that The Rock is going to go in on the Hollywood one while also doing the match with Roman for for the uh, the what's his name the head of the table stuff. So all right, give me 1 second, guys, and we go ahead and lock up. I think it's we're getting close to midnight here on the East Coast, and we'll close up and yeah, we can come back from just talking about well, actually, we can no, actually, no, let me actually go. Okay, let me actually go. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Let's get. Sorry for that breaking the action. Let's get to these next two really quick. Our women's championship was on the line between Asuka and Rhea Ripley. I don't know these two. I don't know if these two just. There was something missing. There was nothing bad. There was nothing awful about it, or it wasn't boring. It just doesn't click, and sometimes that doesn't happen. Sometimes it didn't need to. Again, it's you know like the thing last night with almost an AJ. That necessarily it clicked, but it wasn't necessarily supposed to be a classic. It was just meant to make you get almost over. So it had a purpose. So I don't know if that's what this was. I don't know if the purpose was just to get Rhea Ripley to to beat Asuka and win the championship with her dominance or whatever. But I get the title off of her. But it was what it was. So um, Asuka is no longer champion. That may be a good thing. And yeah, so we will see what happens with that. I had the 2 3/4 stars. No, it was yeah. Yeah. So and then finally the Universal Championship on the line between Roman Reigns, Daniel Bryan, and Edge. And this one was fantastic. So some great stuff in here. They started off with the Jey Uso stuff, super kicking Bryan and Edge, and imagine they took it to the outside and everything like that. And then and then Edge took out Jey Uso by pounding him on the steps, and they did that. So that was fun. And then they did some great stuff in the ring. At one point, they got a chair, and the thing in the chair broke off when Roman Reigns took it away. I guess it was gimmick to do that. He was then Edge could put Roman in a crossface, and he grabbed a little bar and put it in a crossface. And at one point, Brian had Edge. Edge had the crossface on Brian's on Roman's left arm. Brian came in, put the yes lock on Reigns' right arm, and he kind of passed out. And they started to headbutt each other to get him off of to get off of the other one. That was a great spot, and ending sequence was really good too. He had Edge taking out, getting the chairs and the concerto and the concerto Brian, concerto Reigns. He concertoed Brian, and then he was ready to concerto Reigns. Jey Uso came back, took him out. Edge Reigns got up, speared Edge, and then gave the Edge a concerto. Dragged him over, dragged him on top of Daniel Bryan, and then pinned them both 1, 2, 3 for the victory. So yes, you guys acknowledge Roman Reigns as your tribal chief. That's who he is, and that's who he should be for a very long time. Telling you guys, the story that they're telling about him being the head of the family and the head of the table and the things like that, that's a story. And him leading that ship, that's a story that ends with with him losing the championship and him proving, and the only way to prove that he is still the tribal chief and the head of the table is to take out The Rock, who is providing for the family in the movies. He's doing it doing wrestling, but he's going to prove that he is the head of the family of all time. And I've said that that's going to end in Hollywood. Now maybe it could end next year. I don't know. Who knows? Some people say if you can, why wait on something if you can do it. No. Well, I don't know if you were saying that, right? Because sometimes waiting is good. We hear that thing from ruthless aggression where Vince wanted to turn Batista right away, but Triple H and Batista said, no, we can drag this out until Mania. So they dragged it out until Mania. Um, And that's one of the things. But I think this one's different because you're talking about like 2 years. You're talking about can they do it at next year's Mania, 2022, uh, uh, or can they even hold out even longer and wait until 2023, wrestling there now when they're in Hollywood. And that seems like the most awesome one because The Rock has. I'm sure he's got a bunch. I'm sure he's Black Adam. And I'm sure he's got other movies that he's got to, got to be working on. And he's going to be filming on The Rock and things like that. So yeah, it would just make sense that it would be WrestleMania 39. But there's questions about can you hold? Can you have Roman Reigns hold the Universal Championship from August of 2020 to November of 2022, or even maybe January of 2023? Do you have him hold the Universal Championship that long? And I personally think the answer is yes. I think you can, especially when you have two championships as they do. You definitely can do. Um, I think it would be even better if they did unify the title. Because they did unify the title and you became the undisputed champion. There's more challenges for him to face. Challenges on Raw and SmackDown. Of course, I think you unify the titles. You're going to unify the brands as well. So this gives him more championships, right? So, and he still got so much other feuds left to go. We talked about Cesaro. He's got Cesaro. He's got Nakamura. He's got Big E. He's got Seth Rollins. The Seth Rollins thing is that the Seth Rollins thing is a total. You know, that's a total for that's one where that's one that goes 4 or 5 months. That's the one. That's the one that you start in October, and then you have a match in October. There's the Raw SmackDown thing. You have a match in December, things like that, and then you have Rollins win the Rumble or him close to win something, and the match, and then you have the match at Mania 38, Rollins and then the third time. The Roman will once again win, but at least you have Rollins, like this. I think that's the way it should be because at this point, it doesn't make sense to take the title off Roman. It does not. Just because again, like you have two champions, and there's ways to do keep it first. It does not make sense to take the title off of Roman. Nobody. There are some good people, but there's nobody there that should take. I love Big E, but he should not be taking the title off of him. Nobody should. If they didn't do it at Mania, I would have hated it. I could have understood if they put it on Edge or put it on Bryan. I could understand because of the way that because things get hard. Sometimes things get hot, things change. I understand organically. So and they change it organically. This is the regular thing, but it's kind of forced. So I can understand if they would have taken the title off of Roman, but Roman needs to hold that title forever. So, until they get closer to doing the Rock match, which is at that point, the Rock is the reason why he lose. I don't know if it's the reason why he loses it, but he loses the title, and that he kind of brings on himself, where he thinks people are saying that he's not the head of the table anymore because he's not the champion. And the only way he can be the head of the table is because of The Rock. So, by beating The Rock, beating the movie star, the family. So, I think that's the way to go about it. I think that's such a great story to tell. Can't wait for it. I don't know. The match was 4.5 stars. Match of the night. Match of the weekend, right? Match of the weekend. All right, tonight. And between the takeovers and WrestleMania, it was only behind Walter and Ciampa. So there you have it. All right, y'all. Post your comments down below. Tell me what you guys think. Um, I almost forget. Let's check again. So last night, at night one, I was 6-1. The only one I lost was Drew McIntyre. So night two, let's take a look. We had Roman Reigns, right? We had The Fiend, wrong. We had Rhea Ripley. We had Apollo Crews. We had Sheamus. We had Kevin Owens, and then we have at the winners of the night one tournament match that went to we went 5-2. Over 2 nights, I went 11-3. That's an incredible score. 11-3 for WrestleMania, and that's going to be awesome. So, and the next one is this. Apparently, it's called WrestleMania Backlash. So we'll see what's happening. That's going to be May 16th. So we'll see that. And I will be here for that. Make sure you click the notification bell so that when I go live, or when I do any That's or Shoots, anything, you will be able to get those videos. Speaking of that, I mentioned that tomorrow night would be a live reactions. For me, I will be doing my live reactions to the Raw after Mania. Um, I don't think that's going to be the case. I think they won't be live. If I will be recording and I will be doing some reactions. So and if I feel like there's anything to be shown or anything like that, then yeah, um I will go ahead and I will give them to you. And edit them and everything like that, and I'm going to. If there's something that I feel like doesn't don't it was not good enough, that I won't show them to you. But you will find out because yeah, I will probably I'll let you come on here and let you know do a video. I'll let you know the video. It was like the next day. Little short as this YouTube's not calling it. So all right, y'all, that's your boy AJTRIP signing off. As always, be good to each other, y'all. Be careful out there. And I am out.